I can't complain. It's a good Friday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glad payday.
Oh, so see, I get paid every other Wednesday. Actually, I got paid this past Wednesday. Now that I think about it.
So, yeah, when the money coming in and you making some good money, you be like, dang, it was payday. You forget.
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean, I know I used to, I used to have this thing where most of the time the day before, like I get paid at night, I probably didn't used to go to sleep until I seen direct deposit go through. I had to make sure. But
Hmm.
yeah, man, I appreciate you for tapping in with me. I've been able to come in on some of your streams. I've seen you on a couple of YouTube channels, some that I'm not too particularly fond of, but uh, but we're here now. I seen once I seen my guy Professor Black Ops in the chat. So yeah, he got to be solid. So um,
Oh yeah.
that's when I went with hitting you up to do the collab. And so we really gonna get into it. Everybody must know this is before the billions. He has a YouTube channel. I don't know how long he's been doing YouTube. We'll get into that later. And right now, I'm going to get him to go ahead and give us about me. But first, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified when I'm dropping on new content. Also, follow before the billions. You know what I'm saying, and help him out. You know what I'm saying, get his watch time and watch hours up so we can continue to get this ad money. But yeah, man, go ahead and tell us a little bit about
All
you and
right.
kind of your background.
Let me give you the salute. Man, thank you so much for having me up here. So, if you don't know, my name is William from Before the Billions. So, on my channel, I go through and help people to get into the tech industry. I also do many different discussions about different topics and also do interviews on my channel. So, primarily, what I have actually started doing is as of 2021, the beginning of 2021, I actually got laid off from one of my old jobs. And I was like, okay, you know what? I need to be able to, to pivot, to be able to make some changes. And I don't want people to actually go through the same things that I went through. So what I did was I started my YouTube channel Before the Billions, and I trying to help people, but putting them on game to different things. So as you already said, like Professor Black Ops, one of my guests who comes on all the time, a huge supporter of the channel, and right, huge supporter of the channel, and I support him as well. He is a wealth of knowledge. So yeah, most definitely, you can find me and him having many different discussions as well up on my channel. So yeah, thank you again for having me up.
Man, no doubt. Appreciate that. We're actually gonna get into that. I guess the laid off segment because I didn't know that about you. I know I got laid off like 4 years ago, so I definitely know that feeling. So we definitely can go in depth about that. I think that'll be a good segment. So what I normally tend to do is I'll probably ask you like, how long have you been like in tech? Or actually, before I do that, I'll say, did you go to school or what did you do?
Yeah, so the way I've been in tech for over 4 years now. I am actually a graduate of Georgia State University. So as you can see over here, all right. So shout out to Georgia State University. So I got my degree in computer science from there back in 2018, and with that I had internships during college as a software development intern and also information security intern. And then after that, I went on to work as a data engineer and then move on. And now I've been a data engineer since my first job. My first real job is in the tech industry. So yeah, man, it is
Nice.
pretty much how I started. And yeah, I did graduate in 2018.
Nice, nice, man. So actually, that's what I kind of want to ask you about. For the most part, a little bit about, I guess, how important do you think internships were for you while you were in school?
Man, extremely important. I'll give you a quick story. Is that when I actually had a job working in a warehouse as a temp worker. And one of the guys, I actually got some of the best advice from some of these guys who were working here. And he said, like, there's one guy says, you have to go through this right now so that way you can become a better man. And another guy told me, hey, you know what? Look, you need to be applying all the time to get these internships, because after you graduate and you don't have any experience or anything like that, it makes it harder for you to be able to get that first job, which then makes it harder for you to make that money. So I took his advice, and then right, I took his advice and then went ahead and I actually got two internships back to back with the same company. So yeah, I was extremely appreciative of that advice, and it helped me out to where I am now.
Nice. Did you get those internships like your freshman or sophomore year, something like that?
Now I got it the end of my junior year. No, actually the beginning of my senior year and then the end of my senior year.
Okay, that's what's up. No, I was saying that because that was one of the things I was talking about. I was on shout out to Antoine Wade. I was on Black Heights
Yes.
yesterday, and I went live with him, and we were talking about like I was telling him how important internships was, and I wish I would have had one in college, but I had bad advice where I didn't go to the career fairs until like junior year, and didn't really apply to internships and stuff. Just really didn't have a lot of strategy when I was in college. So I talked about the lack of the strategy and how to change that, to leverage college and stuff to your benefit. But
Yes, sir.
that's cool, man. So what made you want to do computer science? Because for me, the reason why I didn't choose computer science, how I pivoted from like wanting to be an architect to going into CIS, and I didn't want to do computer science because at my school, I went to LA Tech, that the professors, they didn't really speak a lot of English. So I was like, 9 out of 10, they're not gonna teach me like the way I need to. I seen people say it was hard, a lot of math, which I'm good at math, but I don't really need math. So I'm always a proponent of like I only want to take classes I need. I don't like to do stuff I don't need. That's why I didn't really do good in quantitative analysis and well I did good in like my other econ classes except the freaking what is that? Econ 102 or something. I don't know, man. That class was hard. I think one time everybody had a F. I think the highest grade might have been like a 62. Uh,
Oh man, I know
so
them. I know them days.
yeah, but so what made you want to do computer science? Do you like programming or what?
Yeah, man. So as an example, right? I was inspired by my dad. So my dad is he's a police officer, right? He's been a police officer since I was born, actually. And I remember going up to him and telling him like, "Hey, you know what, Dad? I want to be an artist. I went from many different things I wanted to do. I wanted to be an artist. I told him I wanted to be an architect, right? And then I told him that I wanted to be like an entrepreneur. Just I don't know what I want to do. And my dad told me like, well, he does IT in addition to being a police officer. He does IT for his precinct in Fulton County. So I said, okay, you know what, Dad? I'm gonna do something IT related. And Georgia State didn't have exactly like that career field like IT at that time. They only had CIS and computer science, and I ended up just going with computer science in order to get my degree. It was hard, man, but we were able to make it. And I'll tell you this is that the class that I had that same experience where everybody failed was algorithms. If you guys know, algorithms was one of the hardest classes ever. I think I passed. I think I failed with a like a 50 or something like that. And the highest, yeah, the highest grade was like it's like in the 60s or something like that. It's ridiculous. But yeah, these classes are no joke.
Yeah, man. I know. For me, when it came to CIS, I knew it was gonna give me like the best of both worlds because I always know like you can be super technical, but then you can lack the skills to probably move around and finesse your networking skills. Whereas you could be decent at being technical and then have those soft skills to move around and get into different type of positions where you can also just be even more helpful to people or your network. So that's why I picked CIS. It was a pretty straightforward path, and it's pretty cool that you said your dad was doing IT. So you got to see somebody that looked like you that was doing it. I mean, for the most part, I didn't really know anything about it till I got to college, and I looked up and started working for my boss at the time for my work study job, Mr. Eddie. He was a black man, black family man at that, who ran like all the IT infrastructure for our new college of business, and set that up from the groundwork. I used to see him with the blueprints and all that crap. So that's when I knew I could really, make a very good living doing this if I decide to have a family, which finally do have one of my own now. So that's pretty cool.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks. So I mean, you talked about the internships. I want to go back into them really quick. So I
Mhm.
know you did those pretty much your senior year, and I believe you said one was in software engineering and one was in information security or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what made you? So okay, actually everything could be an umbrella or something. For what you do with data engineering, is it part of those? Hang on, Siri's talking to me. So for what you're doing in data engineering, is that part of like cybersecurity or like it? What like I mean, you don't have to tell me too much about like department that falls under, but I'm kind of wondering, what made you pivot from software engineering and like something in cybersecurity to go into data engineering.
Right. So I'll tell you this. It's a quick story. Um, I got the software engineering internship uh, while I was in school, and I was like, okay, first internship, I'll take it. Right. I applied to pretty much anything, and that one stuck, and I did well in the interview, so got that job. Um, how I got the information security internship is that my internship for software development was actually ending, and I had made a good rapport with the people down in the information security advisory wing of the company. So I would go down there and I would speak to the director and stuff. And the director said, "Hey, you know what? Um, do you know how to use this tool to build websites?" And it was called Google Sites. So I said, "Yeah, man. I'm sure I can use it. I know how to do it. It's pretty simple to me. I can become like your web developer, right?" And then he said, "Okay, cool. So you can work. I'll go ahead and start you off on Monday." And my internship was about to end on that Friday. He gave me a job that next Monday, and yeah, man, I was appreciative because I was like, man, I needed to make some money, needed to make some things shake. So that's how I got it. And the way that I got into data engineering and pivoted from all of that is I actually got a my degree in computer science, but a concentration in databases and knowledge-based systems. So I kind of got typecasted. I was like, okay, let me put out my resume out there, and then the job that I got was as a data engineer, right? So that's what I started off with, and that's just what I stuck with so far. So yeah,
Nice, nice, nice. And sorry about that, man. As you can see, it's much clearer than it was before. It's
yes,
maybe
sir.
pissing me off. Uh, with that being said, since you are a data engineer, could you explain to everyone what is a data engineer?
Right. So I like to give this analogy. I don't want to get too deep into it because people gonna fall asleep. But what a data engineer is somebody who moves data from one place to the other. So think about it like Amazon, right? I can put it in terms like that. Amazon needs to be able to have people to take in orders, package it up, label it, and then be able to have somebody carry it over and then send it to this destination. And everything that you do throughout that whole process should be correct. And that's pretty much what a data engineer does is we take in the data, we transform it based off of the business requirements, and then we send it off to are other teams, such as maybe the data scientists, who take that data and then put it into dashboards or AI, machine learning. They use it for many different purposes, but that's pretty much what a data engineer does.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, yeah, I like the layman's terms for everyone because that's what I just try to do too. I'm try to go too in depth with it.
Right.
But the last one is the next question would be if somebody wanted to be a data engineer, like how do they go about doing that? Like what do they need to learn to become a data engineer?
All right. You need to know SQL. Right. You need to know SQL, SQL, like the back of your hand. Right. You need to know it. It's a pretty simple language. Right. It can take you probably like a week, right? You can get pretty proficient if you like really sit there and study some SQL. That is primarily what you will be working with. Um, and then you also need to know some sort of programming language such as Python. Some people use Java, some people use R. And it really kind of depends on where you're located. And I can only speak for Atlanta. Some of the biggest languages that we use for data engineers is Python and Java, right? So just from what I've seen in the job market over here in Atlanta, that's how it is now. In addition, right, in addition to that, you need to know some sort of cloud-based platform, such as maybe a Google Cloud platform, maybe an AWS, or Amazon Web Services, Azure. These are some big companies and also big platforms that you really need to know in order to kind of really get into data engineering. So not saying that that you can't find a company that may not be in the cloud or whatever, but these are the opportunities that you'll be most likely finding, especially in Atlanta. So those are some things. In addition to that, you need to also be able to have the hard skills, but also the soft skills as well. Be able to get through the door. So I want you to know that interpersonal skills are extremely important. I know that I said SQL, Python, Java, all this, but being able to speak with people is extremely important as well, and also being able to document everything, right? So that'll help you on your path as well to becoming a data engineer.
Definitely, man. Shout out to that, man. I might have to connect you with. Shout out to Data J and Tech. I don't know. They got the new podcast. They started all about the data. When they talk about the stuff you're talking about, and they bring different data professionals in, and they talk about it on YouTube and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, man. And it's funny enough that you were mentioning about AWS and Azure. I have like both, like their fundamental cloud certs, and recently was I was saying in my video about passing the AZ900 how I probably had the biggest issues with the databases because you have to remember like what the different databases they have and kind of knowing which one's the best and what it's for. I'm like, man, I don't deal with databases, but I was trying to get the gist of it. And on top of that, I was recently doing a lab in immersive labs where I was doing some basic SQL stuff. Like I took a SQL, I took a database class in college.
Mhm.
But as you know, those things need to be used frequently to remember them. So we used to use whatever. I think we used MySQL for like everything, like how to make databases, making your primary and your secondary
Mhm.
key, parent and child, all that stuff. But when it came to that lab, I kind of forgot a lot of the stuff. But I think it's a pretty cool, simple language.
Mhm.
One of my favorite security tools is Splunk, and I believe it's built off of I want to say like Unix and SQL query language. I believe I could be wrong. If I'll go fact check myself to make sure about that. But I think it's kind of built off of those two. But that's pretty dope, man. And this is the last one because I'm actually giving you. I'm almost acting like you was at a career fair and the little kids or some high school kids are in the classroom actually kind of like you know we know like a lot of these roles in tech are pretty different. Like gone are the days where like you're working like the whole day. Most of the time, some of these jobs you just have tasks to knock out and then you're probably free like for most of the day. Is that kind of similar with your work day is like? Like you kind of just have certain tasks to knock out, and then you're pretty much kind of freed up for most of the time, or what?
Yes, most of the time it is a lot of meetings, right? We do have a lot of meetings, so it's it's different for me, right? Because I do have my tasks that I can do. I can just knock on out, right? Most like the task that a data engineer may do is I try to keep it simple, right? It's about like three things, three important things. We need to be able to have some sort of data pipeline, right? So that means moving data from one place to the other. That's one, and that needs to be able to update um, your your profiles, and then also be able to create new ones. Okay. In addition to that, you need to be able to backfill data. Maybe you missed something, right? So when you miss something, you need to be able to grab the old profiles that you may have missed, and then push them through the data pipeline. And then the last thing is being able to add in new fields. um, to maybe your database and then also into your process, right? So those are the primary three things that we do. And after you learn it, you know you can knock them out pretty quickly, right? But what happens is you'll have meetings about the business requirements a lot of the time, and sometimes if you get in like a position like me, I'm kind of in a more of a leadership position right now. Like I don't have the title as a lead, the team leader or anything like that, but I'm kind of delegating work and creating requirements and stuff, which makes it more like okay, I got my work already done, but now I got this meeting at 3 o'clock, right? And then I got another one at 4. So that's what pretty much will happen sometimes, but it's not going to be like that for everybody's position or every data engineer's job. So
Man, tell me about meetings, man. I'm at a new company now. I'm going on month 5, I think. Yeah, close to like
okay,
month 5. And man, I'll be having sometimes 3, 4 meetings before 10. It's very new to me. Whether they're short or long, I just like I'll be over it sometimes. And
it'd be recurring meetings.
I'm like, or we always finish. Yeah, these are
Yeah,
these are daily. Man, we have this big project we're working on, so we got that. And, I've actually been learning different things about Excel as well. Some of the stuff I already knew that I have to go back because we're dealing with pretty much data that that doesn't make sense pretty much for what we're trying to do. And so we got to figure out how they're gonna restructure that so we can make it make sense. But it's pretty dope, man. That Let me see. So 4 years, yeah. So you pretty much should be mid senior level pretty much now. I guess like in your career path. I know that's kind of like I had the title of lead like my last job for like about 3 years, and then like kind of vocal. But on the back end, it really wasn't solidified until I kind of made that title change for me to actually be the lead, and that's when I also started doing a little bit of like more meetings, more high level things opposed to doing what some of my my peers were doing. So it was pros and cons to that. I can't hate it. It got me to where I am today. But you know, earlier, let me make this a clip real quick. Earlier, you mentioned that you started this because of your YouTube channel. I think I don't want to say get this the wrong way, but I believe you said you started after you got laid off in
yeah,
right
yes,
in
sir. Yeah,
2021. If it's not too much, you care
yeah,
to share about it. Share something about that, or like kind of like what you learned, and maybe kind of how you dealt with it. Because I don't think like I've made a video on it, and I probably need to redo it, but I don't think a lot of people talk about like getting laid off and actually how common it is to actually kind of get laid off like in your early on
yes,
in your career.
yeah, and I heard that too. So yeah, I don't mind at all talking about it because that's actually one of my first videos that I have up on my channel, and I leave it up so that way people can see it, and um so the video is titled "I Got Laid Off as a Software Engineer," and so this happened in the beginning of 2021, so it's January, and I'm like, okay, um, oh, you know what? It wasn't even 2021; it was 2020. Sorry, it's 2020. So back in 2020, January 2020, I ended up getting laid off from my job at Home Depot, and I was a contractor there. So my contract was 6 months to hire, and at that time it was like 8 months, right, that I had actually been working. And I was like, okay, I went up to my manager. Everybody was telling me like, hey, you know what? It's been over 6 months you've been working there. Go ahead and bring up to your manager that you want to go full time. So I went up to him. I said, hey, what do you look for in a full-time employee? He told me like, hey, you know what? I don't necessarily look at the amount of time that you've been there, but I care about the amount of value that you bring to the company. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and try and provide some more value. So I started doing a little bit more, and then I got the bombshell from my recruiter, right? So I work with a recruitment company, and the recruitment company said, "Hey, you know what? Well, they're not going to go forward with you." I said, "Wait, what?" So a little bit later on, they actually gave me a week, right? So it was right after Christmas, and we had coworkers who just had a baby and stuff like that. And then I finally figured out what happened is that the company, they actually the budget for my team actually was cut by like $500,000, and he like my manager had to let go of like, I want to say 4, 5, or 6 different people, and including people who just had a baby and stuff like that, having they need the money, right? But you over here like it's ruthless. And then that's what I actually learned, that these companies don't care about you. They try to care about themselves, man, because you got to be able to pivot. You have to be able to, okay, you know what? I can't let this happen to me ever again. Because I didn't have any money saved up. I was sitting here like I'm about to go on a trip to San Francisco, and I was like, man, this would happen right when I really needed some extra money, man. And I ended up just having to every single day switch and interview. So I said, you know what? I gotta get myself back out there. I can't just let this get me down. And I ended up getting a job within like, I want to say like well, less than, well, it was a month, right? I got a new job within a month, but then I didn't start until like March. So, man, I was able to do it. Yeah. So that is pretty much what I learned, and how I was able to get out of that situation. I had to really put myself out there and interview like almost every single day.
Nice, man. I think our situations are like different because I was a full time employee, and I mean the good thing about when I got laid off because they kind of was going through budgets. What they did official term was they laid me off due to restructuring in the company, and I remember it was like yesterday, vividly. At this time, man, I'm like, this is 2018, so I was 26 at the time because I'll be 30 next month. Just pulled up. I don't know if I had my shades or something on. I had the 2015 Mustang GT. So that when they came out the new body, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here in the DFW coming to work, but I see my coworker coming out with a box of stuff, and he's talking about good luck. And I kind of get in there. Something's telling me like, this ain't it. Because honestly, I feel like if I would have came to work, I probably would have still been working. But coming there, the manager who should have never been a manager, gets me with an HR person. We go in the room, we kind of read this long contracts, pretty much saying like, not being fired, you're being laid off, you're gonna get a severance package, we're gonna pay out 100% of your bonus, and all this good stuff, which I didn't know. Because if I would know what I know now, I would have negotiated how much severance I got because I didn't start working again until June of that year. That's why I have a video about how they were being laid off, and then I have a video about, like I said, like 100 jobs told me no. And the good thing was that I get it, but I will say they still looked out for us in a sense because they hooked us up with career services. So once you lost your job, these people help you with your resume and help you like utilize LinkedIn better. So pretty much what I help people with now. And so I actually learned a lot from those people and it's kind of helped out. So it kind of all came full circle. But back then, really the only way for me to kind of like survive and maintain was like, because just like you, like it was good in the beginning. Like, I was having fun. I was going out. So yeah, shoot, I had severance. I was in grad school, so I just got a refund check. So I was like, I'm good. I'll be working the next month because a lot of companies gave me a lot of fake promises. So saying they was hiring me, but they didn't, or oh yeah, we're gonna call you for the second interview or something, but they didn't. So I went through a lot of fugazi stuff. I went through like 4 interviews with Texas Instruments to where the guy was like, oh yeah, you got the job, just gotta bring you in to meet the team, and never brought me in to meet the team. I'm talking about suited and booted early in the morning before 7 for like 4 interviews. Like, but really the only one of the only ways I really made it kind of through that thing to keep me myself in check was like uh I woke up early to be productive to go work out. So I worked out like 3 days a week, and then I used to run to kind of keep my mind at ease because after a certain amount of time, you're like, man, recruiters ain't calling. I kind of was like, all right, I need to be the next day. I need to see who's gonna call me back for the job I just applied to. So uh, I went through that for a while, and then around late April is when it started to change to where I started getting different offers, and they like all the companies started hitting me up. So that was like a weird time, and that's why I think people identify with me a lot because I talk about I don't know if I put that in my book or not, but this is one of the things like I understand. I was like, man, I've been through this shit. I was like, layoffs ain't fun. Uh, you definitely, depending on how it is, I think it was a weird time for the market back then, 4 years ago. But now, like you said, I've learned from that. I got a good network now. I branded myself, so I mean, now the jobs literally hit me up. About jobs. So I'm in a definitely a different situation there. So it's good you were able to learn from that. And I'm glad yours is like shorter than mine because it ain't it ain't a fun thing. When you start seeing the money really dwindling and you gotta figure out what you're gonna do. I was like, man, shoot, am I gonna go work at Target or something, Uber,
Yeah, man,
something?
I would have
Got to
I would
do
have been
something.
working as a
But
temp.
that's
I'd
pretty
have
much
been
my
doing.
experience too.
I had to do something, man. I wouldn't be here if I ain't had no money for 6 months, man. Whew.
And listen, I made some hard choices. I was like, man, am I gonna pay my credit card or am I gonna pay my rent? I had to make some hard choices sometimes, and I was like, well, I can't get evicted. I can always catch back up on whatever what this is once I get another job, and I was able to do that within like a month after I started working because I got another job making more. So at the end of the day, things always tend to work out. But so I ask you a question that sometimes I tend to ask people sometimes, and it's really I don't want to ask you an interview question, but I guess what is you know what's your idea or what's your goals for your career? I guess like far as like what you're doing now, what do you want to do like
Yeah,
in the
man. I
next two to
wanna
three
wanna
years?
get to the bag. That's what I want to do, man. So overall, I do want to progress. I think I might stay on the path of data engineering for a little while. And in addition to that, go into more of a leadership position since they are already trying to put me into it now. And that way I can actually, progress. And I also want to continue on with Before the Billions, my YouTube channel, and my business. And I want to be able to really just help out a lot of other people as well. So right now I'm just helping out people with networking events on in my Discord, and it's all free. I'm thinking of putting out a course, for a free course, and how to become a data engineer. So that way, just watch it on my YouTube channel, and then you can just get what you can from it. And as far as my career, I want to be able to get to as like the cap as close to the cap as I can, and then be able to push past that because I'm before the billions, right? So that's why I have my my career that can help fund my business that could then lead me to be able to not only help out other people but also be able to help out myself and my family as well.
Definitely, definitely, man. Yeah, I was gonna tell you, man, about that course, man. If you're putting
Gotta
a
let
lot
it
of
be free.
time
Okay.
into it, don't let it be free. What I found out, about people is they tend to respect stuff they bought, and sometimes if you're too cheap, they kind of say, do they know what they're talking about or whatever? So, price it appropriately, and go from there, man. Because everybody thinks like, oh, once you get monetized on YouTube, you make a lot of money and stuff like that, but you don't. Yeah, that's a whole bunch of other stuff you behind it. You got to just look up and have a video that does like very good with a high CPM. But that's cool. That's kind of like what I do now as well, though. As far as my company, well, everything's really a company. I have to actually set my DBAs up
Mhm.
for this YouTube channel, the podcast. Now and then I just started the Patreon
Congratulations,
this
man.
week, so that's interesting. Yeah, thanks, man. I got two patrons now, and I had been contemplating starting it, but it's some other things I could possibly do with it. Because the good thing is now, like, if they want the content to get better, then I'm like, it's pretty much like helping people feel a part. Because I'm playing like I always upgrade equipment and actually moving soon to have like my own space for like office space, and really let them see like what their donations do, like to help like everything get better. So try to be transparent with that and help people. I mean, they go on the site, they see the reviews. Uh, the good thing about doing this is when people that you just never interacted with like send you a random message, whether it's Instagram, Twitter or LinkedIn, they just hit me up like, "Hey, thanks. I took some of the advice from your videos and helped me get a job," or something like that. Like that,
Yes, sir.
that's dope. I always talk about how like people like basically like me and you weren't on YouTube, 10 years ago, talking about what we talk about or having somebody even look towards to like to talk about these type of positions. So that's why I think like, it's beneficial, and I don't really get discouraged about the numbers. Uh, what I do know is because this is not my first YouTube channel, I know as long as you put out great content, that eventually it's gonna catch. I mean, that's it. You'd be surprised. Like my biggest video took a while to catch, and all of a sudden I just started looking. I was like, man, I don't know. It's at what 5,000, 10, 15, 20. Like it's at what, like
Hey.
I was close to like 35,000 now. Granted, people got bigger videos than that, but I just made the video, and other videos are following suit. So that's kind of my goal, and like kind of uh, what I do with that. But what I'll talk about is we'll get back some more YouTube questions, but I'm gonna ask you this: how is it? Because I've seen you like some of your
Yes,
titles
sir.
saying talking about black in tech, black man in tech, and all the different stuff. What's your
Yeah,
experience
man. So
being a black man in
my
tech?
experience is that as an example, right? I actually will be the only one. Like, well, in my own team or something like that, I may have met a few, other black men in tech. Maybe they're doing something else, or maybe they're on a different team or whatever it is. But usually, it's so far and few in between that you actually see other black men who look like you doing the same things, right? And then when you do see them, it's like, hey, like you extremely excited to see them because it's most of the time it's mostly the white or Indian people, or I should say Asian people who work in IT a lot of the time. And I think somebody said we only make up like some low amount of percent of in IT. I think it's like I think it's less than 10 or something like that. Some small amount. I don't have it up on me, but so in addition to that, you'll see people try and say, they try you, right? They try to make it sound like you don't really know what you're talking about, and they'll ask you questions that may be simple, and you're like, wait a second, why are they asking me this? Um, a quick story is that I actually got into an argument, or not an argument, or but just like some sort of disagreement with a guy. Um, it's an Indian guy. He actually was like, I was like new to the company, and what happened was I ended up, I was talking to him, and I was like, hey, I see that if we take this piece of the code out, then everything flows through as it's supposed to. And the guy said something like, oh, of course that will work because of this specific piece. And then I was like, oh, well, we never discussed this before. So he went off on me about that. And I was just like, why is he going off on me about this? It was like a culture difference.
Okay.
Right? It was a complete culture
All right.
difference. And he thought I was disrespecting him when I was just like, hey, we just never went over this before. But then you also have to figure out how to speak with people of different cultures as well. Another thing that I've noticed is that um, with me, like I used to just listen to music while I drive all the time, just listen to rap music or whatever, R&B and stuff like that. And then you're pretty much memorizing a lot of the rap music or the lyrics or whatever it is. And then when you get to work and you spend the majority of your time with your coworkers, more time than your own family a lot of the time, right? So you spend so much time with them, and then you realize you can't have a conversation with any of them about it, right? You're like, oh, I can't talk to them about, what's going on in my culture or anything like that because they just can't relate. So, like even just certain terms that you use, they were like, okay, what is that? Right? And like I said, legit one time, and then it was like looking at me like, what? I was like, well, legitimate, So, in addition to that, it's like, so I ended up changing how I did that, and I said, okay, you know what? Let me start listening to more podcasts. Let me start listening to more educational content to be able to help myself out with being able to know things and for me to be able to do better at my own job, right? Because hey, you know what? At least I'm learning something that can help me out, help me make more money, and then also um, I can actually have more things to talk about with my coworkers because hey, we talking about technology. They're in tech as well. They can at least relate to that. So you have a little bit more of a barrier broken down with being able to actually speak with somebody about something else. So yeah. That's some examples of what it's like to be a black man in tech.
Yeah, man, I feel you. Honestly, I don't really have the code switch a lot. I've been kind of fortunate to work with people who are kind of a little bit more progressive and kind of like not in the culture. Like I worked with all different races before, but they kind of know a little bit about stuff. Like for example, when I first met my manager at my last company, she was working at night and Drake Scorpion had just dropped, and she
Yep.
was listening to it. I said, "Oh, we gonna get along just fine." Or I had some of my coworkers, they would like listen to like some music that I may listen to, but I have a background as a musician, so I've listened to like all type of stuff that some people probably don't even think I listened to before. And I do this thing. I just read the room when I get so I just peek back and kind of observe. And I'm a huge like anime fan, and then one of my favorite people in
Yep.
Naruto is Kakashi. He's known as the copy ninja, so I can pretty much do fit in anywhere in every place I'm ever at just because of that ability. And I tend to use that wherever, but most of the time, kind of like how I'm talking now, it's kind of like what I talk at work. I actually really don't use too much slang just in general. And maybe because it is I'm not around like a lot of my peers like we used to be when we were like high school or stuff or college or talk about stuff. But maybe in the text messages like we'll use like some slang for the most part. But but yeah, I definitely feel you on that because most of the time as you think is what you are. And I used to listen like to different podcasts from time to time, but I haven't been in the office over 2 years. Like I think later on this year I probably have to go back into the office. So I don't even know like I probably have to listen to podcasts. I got like a good commute on me, so something I'll have to listen to. But for me, being black and tech as well, like I experienced like in one of my jobs, like the white manager like screamed at us, whatever, which was like a first. It was his first and last time because I was like, I just gonna lose my job next time he did it because you know what I'm saying? We not kids, we men, you know. But I also realized that's a cultural thing. They talk to each other like that. I I don't. I try to treat everybody with respect. I'm not going to yell at you because you didn't yell at me. I know if I yell at another man and we got a potential to be fighting or something just because it's a respect thing. So I had to also understand that they think that's a good way of communicating. I'm like, no, it's not. You can't communicate to everybody the same. But that probably like one thing I kind of experienced that way, or even some of the politics I went through with my very first job about them going behind my back, stuff my interviews and stuff. I was like, bro, this ain't it. But you know, that's that's uh that's enough on that because those are all different conversations that I could just do long soliloquies on. But what I'll get at now is like we'll just get right back into the YouTube. As far
Yes,
as so
sir.
you
Yeah.
started what 2 years ago? Okay. How has it been for you? Like figuring out, like I said, since this is my second channel, I didn't really have the issues I ran into when I had my boxing channel because I didn't. I just trying to do any and everything, tag people. Like I was doing everything all wrong. using the tag feature that just put different boxing channels in, thinking that's gonna help me get views. That didn't work. Uh, Not knowing how to do call to actions very good. Really not knowing about thumbnails, jump cuts, like a lot of different things I didn't know about that I know about now. I had those mistakes early on that channel like
Yeah, man.
three
So some
years
things
ago.
that I've
What
learned
about you?
is that you know, I actually, so I'll give you this, right? So when I first started, I did put up that video on me getting laid off, and I want to say like that was like a terrible, like it looked terrible, right? Um, so the video quality was bad, and then the audio quality was bad. Then I was like, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and use my headphones, or I got my microphone and stuff with me. You know, in addition to that, I've completely upgraded my studio, even moved, right? So I moved out my mama's house. So that was actually a thing that helped me out with my YouTube channel as well. In addition to that, I have learned that you actually have a great community up on YouTube as well because, man, when I actually started doing videos on Instagram about just different things. And people, if you go live on Instagram, they'll maybe one person may join your live, and then as soon as they join, you say, "Hey, how you doing?" They click right on off as soon as they see that they're the first and only person who's in the chat. So what happened was I ended up gaining a community up on YouTube who has helped me out tremendously. I always say shout out to the BTB squad because, like, hey, we just have great discussions about different things, and I've learned so much. I mean, that I can even apply to my own real life. But some things that I have done wrong, which is, like I would go up on my YouTube and then just kind of just not really have a subject, right? I would just be like, oh, let me just go up and, go up there and talk. And then I'll be sitting there talking to myself, rambling, right, with no structure. And that's some things I had to get away from. So now I try to speak more so from experience. So if I'm talking about a specific subject, I just say, oh, okay, let me relate it to this story that I have. The same thing I've been doing it throughout this live stream, right? Or this recording is that I try to keep it to where I can speak from a level of experience, so that way it just comes off and flows through, right? And one last thing that I have learned that used to be another mistake that I was making is well, just like how you said, calls to action, right? Is that people will actually get behind you and help you out if you actually say, hey, please go ahead and leave a like on the video, also subscribe. People actually do that. Like if you actually ask them, sometimes people forget to like and subscribe, and if you don't ask, they won't do it. So and I never asked for money or anything like that, but I always ask for like a like to let me know if you actually liked the video. So that way I can see if I'm going in the right direction because I'm a data engineer. So I want to have data driven decision making within my own YouTube channel, but also my own business as well. So I always take surveys and I always take all my analytics into into consideration when I make moves for my channel.
Nice. Yeah. I studied before this channel. I studied when I still look at
Hmm.
all this stuff all the time. Because they help me out all the time. Like
Yep.
Think Media and Nick Neiman. Nick Neiman helps me out as far as like just YouTube changes and how to keep on growing my subscribers. And then Think Media does that too. But then they'll throw in like they do all type of great videos like desk accessories, best USB docking stations. If you want to start a podcast, get this equipment, like all the different type of stuff, that the information is out there. I go to those two channels like all the time to see like whenever I move, I found out I could buy these things to make my sound better to stay in the room more. So that like this mic I'm using right now, this Rode NT micro USB, I think I found out about from Think Media. So a lot of things I always tell people all the time. Like I learned from Rick Ross, the container with the most weight moves the slowest. So I just focus on, like you said, all my stuff does come from experience. So when I do my vlogs, or for me, it also helps too because if I'm, I'm talking, cash money, uh, I tell people, hey, you want to verify me? Go to my LinkedIn. Ain't nothing I'm saying,
Yeah.
false. And I'll tell you what else helps. And I don't know if you have a Twitter or not, but Twitter definitely helps. Last year, I forgot how many subs I went from. I mean, followers I went from, but I got like 6,200. I went viral
Hey.
yesterday. No. This week I went viral. This week, I told people they want
Oh yeah, I saw that.
six
Yeah.
figure tech jobs, but with no 6 figure tech skills, and people thought I was gatekeeping, which I don't know how that's gatekeeping, because nobody gonna let a doctor be a doctor without going to med school. I'm just saying, like people just that's because they just want to rush in and get paid and not realizing we actually support businesses. So people just see the money side. They don't really see that we support businesses. It's the reason we get paid what we get paid, because if we don't do our job, it's potential that we don't support the business in the correct way. That's all it is. But that's dope. That you kind of got a strategy. I know I used to script a lot of my videos out because what that would do was let me know if whatever I was doing was going to bring value. So if I did a script and I didn't like it, I was like, all right, nah, this ain't gonna do that. Or just getting good. Like also, I actually enjoy editing. Like some people get their editing done for them. Which if I get bigger to where I don't have a lot of time, I'll probably get an editor. But I like to take the time out and edit and get better, because potentially if I get decent at it, then I can edit for other people. It don't really
Hmm.
take a super long time. They just want some basic stuff. Now if they want to get color grading and all the other crap, then I'll have to learn it. But for the most part, I think that's pretty cool. I learned a decent amount about sound, about using free tools like Audacity, where I could just go in and use different settings and make it pop like you watching a different type of a video. So yeah, I mean, it's been a cool journey. I mean, everything has really helped out. I just learned a lot, built a good network up from doing this. All different type of people have been on here. You know, I sometimes sit back. It's like, you really started this podcast out of nothing. Like you said, an idea and to do it. And I'll tell you, Mike, if you've been thinking about doing a podcast or YouTube, just do it. Don't worry about knowing how uh, it's gonna work or how you're gonna look. Just do it. You're gonna learn along the way. If you always think about you're not ready, you'll never start it. I didn't know how this thing was gonna progress. Now sometimes people hit me up like, "Hey, I want to be on the podcast. I want to be on." And because at first, I was like, I just started reaching out to people, and I had my YouTube, and then I think we did the first video in either I think it was like January 2021 or something like that. Like, and it just went from there. So, and not to mention the stuff I'm in the YouTube got, now I shoot solely with my camera. I not shoot a lot of stuff with Riverside or use Streamlabs for the reactions. Like I'm also that's another thing I did to kind of separate myself from people that talk about the tech stuff. I'm probably the only one like in the cybersecurity one realm that does
Hmm.
reactions to different tech videos. Um, because we do know there's good advice and we do also know there's bad advice. So I just try to, based on my experience, say what I think is good and what I think is
That's
not
awesome,
the best
man. And
advice
I'm glad
for
that, because
beginners.
see, that's the thing, is that after you have seen what works, you can continue on with doing something that's gonna work even better. And the more videos that you do, just like how you said in the beginning, you thinking more so long term, because what if something blows up, and then more people get the chance to follow you, because now you have a great following too. So and then you already blew up on Twitter. So you're doing pretty good, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I'm not even on Twitter. Like talking about, like I don't have Twitter on my iPhone. I have it on my Google Pixel 6, but on my iPhone because it's too distracting. Like that post blew up. I didn't know it would blow up, but like actually, I don't know. I can actually show you right now, even though I don't know if I'm gonna put this on. Let me just think off mute. Man, that post is crazy. All type of people
Oh.
that would never say this stuff to my face was saying stupid stuff to me. Uh, Let me see. All right, I'll show you right here. I'm gonna share it because I actually want to talk about this in the beginning to monologue about it. Uh,
Yeah. See, man, you blowing up,
Look at that.
bro. 6,308. It's dope, man.
Right, and I'm not even know that like I need to push that to like 15,000, but I had to do this because people uh kept on talking to me, and they skip over this one. This is the one that a lot of people skipped over. I said, prove your value of 6 figures plus, and you'll get those roles without applying to them.
Mm.
And that was a good thing you touched on. And the manager said, I look at your value,
Yep.
and so I just started plugging all my stuff over here. Like people were just like somebody said, well, let me see if I can find some of the stupid things that people ask
Oh,
me.
Leander, I actually know him.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, honestly, if it's a person that don't really talk about tech stuff a lot, I probably don't like follow them. Not because I want to, but I got my kind of TL with like a lot of tech people stuff. Look, I mean, it's just crazy. Some people that come in, you know what? Oh, this
Yeah.
person. I don't even think this person was even in tech. You know what they're talking about. That's why I said if you're not in tech,
Yeah,
then your
yeah, they
opinions don't
crazy,
matter.
man. Oh, so yeah, that's cute. Oh, whatever. just, just wanted to argue.
Right? Unlike people, and pretty much that's what I had to realize. Let me get off here, but that's definitely. I mean, that's the pros and cons. Like I know me, I don't really back down, but I've got to the point now within like a 2 year time span where like I really try to be productive as most of the time as possible. Like I was telling somebody the other day, like GameStop sent the email about, oh, we got the Xbox Series X in, and I was about to buy it, but I was like, you know what? I'm not because I'm gonna start playing it. Like I barely play my Xbox One X now, so I was like, I'm not gonna play it. I may not really play my game till like I go on vacation again, just because there's always something I could be learning about marketing, SEO for my website. I'm already got good at
Yeah, I
SEO for
use
YouTube. That's
vidIQ.
another thing I was gonna ask you about. Do you use TubeBuddy or not? I like TubeBuddy better. I used to use vidIQ before, but I like TubeBuddy because which I hadn't checked out vidIQ in a while, but I know TubeBuddy gives me that keyword explorer, and then it kind of shows me where my stuff would rank if I did this title. So if you pay attention to my titles, the reason why a lot of them are named the way they are, and why some of them hit like they do, is because that. Sometimes in our mind, what our title is, that'd be interesting, but I just use the
Yeah,
analytics
I think
to
vidIQ has a
make
similar
the title stick.
similar thing now.
Because in
I don't
tech,
know if it was like, previously they didn't, but yeah, they have a keyword explorer as well, and you can actually see like how much traffic is coming in for that specific keyword. Then it also um, if if
yep,
your keyword would actually be able to show up or start trending.
yep, and it's something to do with Neil Patel or something like that. Uber suggests he got these other tools where you can kind of find stuff that you can do, like they get Googled a lot. You know, I mean, honestly, it's a lot. Once I really get to lock in and just be in the office area where I can just pick up and record whatever, because a lot of times, like this stuff is scheduled out. Like besides my schedule, we have it scheduled on the whiteboard, so the babies go in the room and be quiet for a while so I can record. So uh, that's kind of how that works. But man, this has been a good one though. Honestly, that's why I don't like to just do questions. I just like to listen and react, read and react. That's what you say in football: read and react. Let me see what I'm gonna find right here. But yeah, man, it's been a great episode. Earlier, I told y'all what to do, man. Follow Mr. Before the Billions. He does a lot of live streams, so you actually can get to interact with him a lot. Do you typically schedule when you go
Yeah,
live,
so what I
or
do is I
is it
go
just like is it
live
every
usually
day, or what?
around
How do you do that?
5:30 between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I may do a pop-up live on a different day, and then also like it depends on my work schedule as well. So if I like have a release or something like that, I'll let everybody know like, hey, it's not gonna be a live today. But yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday you should be able to see me, guaranteed.
Okay, that's a bet. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get on there. Like I do best getting on people's lives sometimes, like during the day if I'm not doing something, or late at night, just because that's when everybody sleep. But I'm definitely trying to tap in on a live one day, or if you want to set some up for the channel. You want to tell everybody where they can follow you at?
Yeah, man. So you can follow me at Before the Billions on both Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter as well at B4 the number 4 the billions, and also Before the Billions at YouTube.com. So thank you so much, HD, for having me up here, man. I really do appreciate it.
Man, pleasure's been mine. I appreciate you for gracing the stage, man. Everybody, y'all know what to do. I appreciate y'all that's watching on Patreon, on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I appreciate y'all. My motto is let's get textual, and we out.